Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel where we talk about stuff. So I don't know if you've ever heard, I'm sure some of you have, there's a word, it's known as hyperbitcoinization. It basically implies that in the future a Bitcoin will be used for everything as a metric of value. It simply outpaces and outperforms and outmoves, I don't know, other asset classes out there. One of the largest discussions that a lot of people had many years ago but have been relatively silent on is the idea of Bitcoin not only becoming a large metric of value, but how it actually gets there and what the next steps are going to be. Recently, the Winklevoss twins, I call them the Winklevi or simply the Gemini twins sometimes, recently announced that they believe that we are sometime over the course of this decade, that is to say 6.5 years, that we're going to actually see Bitcoin outpace not only, they use oil and petrol as an example, sure, why not? But the other larger asset class they believe is going to be gold. And I know a lot of people are going to have a little issue with that because historically we have been told nearly forever that gold is kind of the stable currency, and or that people would go back to using it, and or that it was a great metric of value to place other currencies against and or base other currencies on. The general, and I can feel someone angrily typing, the general idea is that that gold is old and that we used gold before, but gold is not finite. I can feel you typing and it hurts. And the idea is that as we continue to be able to find more gold, because I believe it's every 5 years we create or are able to create new machines that can dig further into the earth, and we keep finding more gold, similar to diamonds. For those of you who don't know, diamonds are not as rare as you think. Their supply is held back by about 2 companies who make sure that the supply of diamonds in markets seemingly is a lot lower than it actually is. There are a number of documentaries on this. You can look it up. The same exact thing is believed to be of gold and silver. A number of years ago, there were lawsuits alleging that a number of large banks, including JP Morgan Chase, were actually manipulating the price of gold and silver to make it seem rarer than it actually is or was. The generalized point being, you might have heard recently a number of quite eccentric billionaires talking about asteroid mining. It seems like something unbelievable, but we actually know how to do it. It's more of a having the tools to be able to do so while we're still continuously finding more gold inside of the planet. The idea of Bitcoin overtaking gold has been something that has been around since I first got into the cryptocurrency market about a good 95 years ago. It's been one of the main mantras of the space. The general idea is that as time goes on and people see that gold isn't performing as well as Bitcoin, they would then begin to sell off their gold in order to put into Bitcoin. As always, I will provide the articles down below in the description. There's one particular chart that I'm going to try to find. You can even try yourself. It is a Bitcoin versus gold chart, and it basically shows if you had put $1 into Bitcoin or gold at the time of Bitcoin's creation, I believe you would have $1.45 worth of gold compared to, I think it's several million dollars, something like that, worth of Bitcoin. And eventually, as society or people in society who have gold see that gold has not kept up with the movements that Bitcoin has, therefore, the cascade will begin. And the Winklevoss twins are kind of adamant that we are very near that point. When you talk about the idea, this is where the idea of a $500,000, a $1 million Bitcoin comes from. We need an egregious amount of money to be in our market, but also this is done quite easily by selling off other assets. I know a lot of people who've gotten into the cryptocurrency space who actually sold off major assets and pushed it directly into Bitcoin. Like there was no thought in their mind. They simply were like, okay, I'll just simply sell this. The other idea is that if people have, and banks have large amounts of gold or other precious metals or other assets or bonds or ETFs, or even at some point property, it kind of is, it's like one of those like Wile E. Coyote, like light bulb over your head where you kind of go, if I had sold this before, I would have X amount of money. Let me sell it now so that I can have XX amount of money when the Bitcoin price ends up going back up. As repeated before, I do think we are in a very peculiar spot within the financial world right now, where we continuously see a large number of financial institutions who are actively, in banks and hedge funds and BlackRock and Fidelity, actively getting into the cryptocurrency space. And it sounds cheesy. I can hear myself. It is a game changer in some sort of way. The average person looks at the price of Bitcoin as an indication as to when they should get in, and the smart investor simply follows the news, because every single day we keep hearing more and more mega institutions are buying up all the cryptocurrencies. I do think personally that we are going to hit a tipping point where assets like gold and precious metals and even some form of real estate. I now have friends who prefer crypto over real estate. As crazy as that might sound, real estate has, you have to keep up with it. You have to manage it, or someone has to manage it. You have to clean it. You have to fix it. You have to find new tenants. Crypto, you don't. You kind of hold it. A lot of it you can stake. You can stake on your own computer. There's no upkeep for it except for like updating the actual software whenever you have to. I do think that we're going to get into a point. I'm not sure if it's going to be this halving, but I think it will be the next, where the larger companies who are in the space aren't going to slither and back away and say that they're not in the space anymore during the next 4-year cycle. And when they stay and when prices continue to rise, I think it's going to be an eye opener for a lot of people who will realize that they shunned Bitcoin since around 2011-12 when it lightly became mainstream, and that they should be getting into it. Yeah. I think that's going to do it for this video. I do hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and/or supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.